I want to continue to live life to the fullest. I finally appreciate it. I'm grateful for it. Yeah, I want more of all good things.
Hey there, my name is Sean, and this is Suicide Noted. On this podcast, I talk with suicide attempt survivors and ideators so that we can hear their stories. Every year around the world, millions and millions of people try to take their own lives, and we almost never talk about it. We certainly don't talk about it enough, and when we do talk about it, when we engage with people in pain, we are not very good at it. In fact, let's keep things real. Most of us are quite bad at it. So one of my goals with this podcast is to have more conversations, and hopefully better conversations with survivors, in large part to hopefully, maybe, help more people in more places feel a little less shitty and a little less alone. Now, if you are a suicide attempt survivor or ideator and you'd like to talk, please reach out. hello@suicidenoted.com. I'd love to talk with you. You can learn more about this podcast in a few places. suicidenoted.com. Whether you're on Apple or Spotify or elsewhere, you should find a lot of information or links in the podcast description or episode notes. One friendly reminder that we are looking for people to help us format and index AI transcribed episodes. If that's something you're interested in or curious about, again, reach out. We could use a few more hands there. So thanks even for your consideration on that. And for those of you that are already involved in doing that, I really appreciate it. We are talking about suicide on this podcast. My guests and I do not hold back, so please take that into account before you listen or as you listen. But I do hope you listen because there is so much to learn. Today, I am talking with Andy. Again, it's an update episode. I actually met up with Andy, and he joined me at an event in Gardner, Massachusetts, on the tour, but the audio quality was subpar for a podcast, so we reconnected and we had an update conversation. And as you probably know, Andy is a suicide attempt survivor. Andy in Massachusetts, hi.
Hello. Officially.
Andy's in Gardner, I'm in Mexico City, we're both bald. That's our show. Thank you, good night.
Yes, another meeting of the North American Bald Association.
North American, but the NABA.
Yep.
Yeah, and thank you. Mexico is in North America.
Yes, I know.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
Clearly, you're not one of them. Just so the audience knows, I first connected with Andy back in 2020. We had a great conversation. You can listen to that conversation. If you scroll back towards the beginning of this entire podcast, you'll see Andy in Massachusetts. If I had to guess, I'd say my conversation and editing skills were not as good. I'm guessing. I don't know. It's been 5+ years. And then Andy and I want the audience to know Andy helped me create the tour. I mean, he was the person who helped me, among many things, find a space called Alyssa's Place in Gardner, Massachusetts. It was our 1, 2, 3, 4th stop. Spoke with him and Charlotte in Maine, who came down. Hi, Charlotte, if you're listening. If you're not, why aren't you listening? We had a lovely audience, and I thank you for that.
My pleasure.
I think you were the only person, it worked out to be the only place that kind of covered it. We had a little write-up in a local magazine or publication. You're alive still. I know that for sure.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
How I deduce things here. Who is Andy Grant?
Who is Andy Grant?
Oh, geez. Here we go. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I feel like you want, like, what things do I do? But who am I is an entirely different question.
I am not suggesting you go one way or the other, or perhaps you want to go both.
All right. Yeah. I'll do the easy stuff first. So
Sure.
what I do, how I operate in the world is I am a men's coach, an energy healer, an author, a podcaster, a screenwriter, an actor, a children's book author, a community leader.
So you know what's interesting? Sometimes when I hear people list off all that stuff, I'm like, I'm a loser. I'm just like, what a loser. But I want to know, and I'm going to set that. So you do a lot of cool things, that's for sure. And by the way, when Andy says he's an actor, I believe you said actor. And this might not be like the perhaps the most challenging role he's ever done, but he legitimately, when I was on tour, the day before, I believe, the evening before, was out as a monster of some kind.
Every Halloween, I'm a zombie at a local haunted attraction.
Yeah. Live performance,
Yeah,
zombie, legitimately, I saw photos,
yeah.
and then but he didn't show up as a zombie for the event, fortunately.
I did have a surprising amount of blood behind my ears that day, but
That
I did
wasn't
not
because
show
of
it off.
zombie. That had nothing to do with being zombie, that was a whole other thing. Alright, and then if you wanna ask it's not a question I usually ask, but, because you answered that way, so, what else is there when I ask the "Who are you?" question beyond how you show up in the world or what you do?
Mm. I really don't man, alright, I'm a being of light. I am a vessel of joy.
Wow.
I am so glad to be alive, and I hope I express that in every moment I can. And these are all things that I thought were ludicrous. If I
Mhm.
was listening to myself 10 years ago, I'd think this guy's a nut. But I love to find out that I'm wrong about things. I love to know that there's more. So, yeah, in the bigger picture, I am love and light and joy.
So anybody who's listening to this episode right now who wants one of those episodes or those conversations where it's really like not that, they just hit pause. It's not for them today. It's okay. It might be another day. That's the cool thing. It'll live on for presumably years somewhere on Spotify or Apple or whoever runs the damn podcast ecosystem after we're dead from natural causes. When we talked in 2020, probably the fall or winter, this would be tough when I summarize. It's a little bit about like growing up, suicidality, how many attempts, hospitalizations, all crunched into a couple of minutes. Go do your best. I'll edit if I have to.
So, suicidal from a very young age. I have two family. My grandfather and great grandmother both died by suicide. My father had family history of alcoholism, mental illness, suicidology. My grandfather, grandmother that died were on my mother's side. My dad's last name is Grant. My mother's last name is Lee. From a young childhood, I felt like I was the Civil War embodied. Um, it was
Wait.
not pleasant. My parents divorced quick when I was about 5 years old. I have no memory of us as a family. At
Hmm.
that same time, I began getting molested by a next door neighbor. So, very young age, I decided the world is not safe. I cannot trust adults. I cannot trust men. My dad often said that high school was the best years of his life. So I thought, why the hell would anyone bother to live beyond high school? My goal is I'll make it till I'm 18 and then kill myself. With such a worldview, I tried to kill myself much earlier than 18, attempts as early as 12, 13, 14, multiple attempts in my teenage years and into early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
I always counted the ones that landed me in a hospital. That's 5.
Okay.
I didn't count the things where no one noticed. I wasn't caught, nothing to see here. But I met a psychiatrist when I was 20 years old who said, anytime you have the intention to harm yourself, that is a suicide attempt.
Ah, okay. That
By
that
that number, my
yeah.
attempts are in the hundreds, possibly thousands. I was almost always half-assed suicidal. Like I could just run into traffic here. Hey, we're driving around tonight. I'm going to lunch with my friends, and I'm just going to slam into a wall tonight.
Right.
All those times I didn't do something or at the last minute averted it, whatever. I never
Right.
counted that stuff. I thought that was just how I lived.
Normal.
Yeah. Well, I knew it wasn't normal, but I thought it
You
was me. I thought I have these thoughts because I'm supposed to act on them.
Okay.
That's why they return. I thought, and every single day of my life was not miserable, but I thought feeling good was the lie. The depression and wanting to die was reality.
The truth.
Right. I was brave enough to face the truth. Other people are faking it, pretending to enjoy life. Finally, after multiple so-called failed attempts, I had to accept that I'm not good at living. I'm not good at dying. There's got to be something I'm missing. And I was
Mm-hmm.
finally open enough, and I had my first ever, mystical, spiritual experience when I truly felt a different voice than the critic that says, "You suck, Andy, just kill yourself. Fuck you, you're a horrible loser, you're hopeless and helpless." I had this softer voice saying, "If you share your story, it will all be worth it."
Mm-hmm.
And I took that to mean to professionals, because until then, I just lied to doctors and psychiatrists. I gave them, "Oh, I have a dream of a sandbox. What does that mean?" And I'd let them have a little win and leave me alone. I took,
Sandbox.
first child psychiatrist I ever saw hypnotized me to bring me to my happiest safe spot. And it was a sandbox. I remember as at like age 3. And so
Oh,
I let him talk about that sandbox for months. And
man, he probably thought he was crushing it.
yep, yep. And I like meant nothing to me. It's just a place I remember. Like that's
Uh-huh.
all it was. But
Wow. Okay.
yeah, so lots of attempts. Finally realizing that hearing that notion of sharing my story was the first time I really felt the possibility that maybe I'm supposed to be here and
Mhm.
that maybe I can make this thing work somehow. And I thought sharing my story meant telling people, being open to help. And
Yep.
it was, but this is age 20 years old. I'm in my 5th mental hospital and I'm finally engaged. I want to heal. And that's when I finally have the memories of the child molestation. And I mistakenly thought, aha, now I'm cured. I remember the root of everything. So that's all. But no, years of healing and getting over that. And so there was just a lot. I went into like the personal growth stuff. I tried everything. I was a card carrying Scientologist for a year.
Is
Uh,
that right?
yeah, which I don't recommend. And many of my
Right.
books, I don't say do this.
But because
um,
you were in LA for a while.
Yeah, no, very lit. I just traveled. So I was a struggling screenwriter for a while, and I had a trip to Hollywood. This is like 2005, I think.
Okay.
Anyway, and it's success. Producers wanted to hear you just as a screenwriter. I pitch my story, and if people want to hear the script, they do. And I had script options. On the flight back, I had my second mystical spiritual experience flying back from Hollywood to Boston, Massachusetts. I hear distinctly on the plane, stop making up stories and tell your own. And I'm
Mhm.
like, fuck, because I know what that means. So ever since then, I've stopped fiction. That's when I started. I put together a book proposal for my memoir. It was meant to be a prescriptive memoir. It wasn't just my story, but what did I learn? What did I do? I hired a professional ghostwriter, book proposal expert. I had literary agents read the proposal, say, fantastic, it's needed, your story is powerful, but you're not a celebrity, nobody will care. So that's why I've since self-published books, and I've just done smaller things. I've got 2 books on affirmations. I've got a book on breath work. I wanted to share things that help me the most.
Yeah. What's the name of your book? The memoir book.
So Still Here, How to Succeed in Life After Failing at Suicide is the one. It's everything I wish I knew at age 17. It talks about the various alternative medicines and energy works and things like affirmations and mirror work and EFT and all the things that have led me in my spiritual growth and progression. And the idea is that something in there piques your interest. Because one thing when meds did not work for me, I had incredibly toxic reaction to medicine in high school. I had full body tremors. I had tactile hallucinations. It was like a stereotypical acid trip. And it was from all the psych meds I was on.
Oh, okay.
So I was not willing to go deeper into that world again. So I was kind of forced to discover energy work and the ancestral lineage and all this suicidology in my ancestors was
Yeah.
literally in my DNA, right? I was
Yeah.
carrying it with me.
Right.
And not just meaning bad brain chemistry, because I don't dispute that, but what comes first? I believe now my shitty negative thinking made the chemistry that made suicidology be a choice for me.
Some people will push back on that.
Yeah, they can push back all they want.
Yeah.
I trust my experience more than anybody else's opinions. And that's what I encourage everybody to do.
Yeah.
Don't poo-poo something until you've tried it. And if you tried it and it didn't work for you, I don't care what all the research says. I don't care it doesn't matter. It didn't work for you.
Yeah. I see the book behind you still here.
Yeah.
Now, if I forced you to rename the book, because I love memoir titles, what would you name it?
So when it was going to be a strict memoir, my working title was Surviving Myself.
Okay. You have done that.
Yes. That's why I could go with that
Quite well.
title.
Also,
And I'm also still here. So they're both true.
it should be noted, Andy's youthful in that, he's in his 50s. Can I say the late 50s?
Yeah.
But he looks young.
That's another thing. All the time growing up, once you hit 20, it's all downhill. 30 is the end of your life. 35 is horrible. Once 40, it's all bullshit. Every decade of my life has been better than the prior decade.
So
That is not anything I heard growing up.
You are so positive. Damn. I've got to embrace that. I don't have to. I think it's interesting. It's not quite as common on this podcast, but it's welcomed because, and only because I don't think you're bullshitting anybody. That's what matters here.
Oh, yeah. No. So we first talked in 2020. I've been suicidal between 2020 and today.
We're getting there. We're going to get there. Yeah.
Yeah. This is me at my best, and my best now lost a long time. My best is strong enough to know, I'm living the truth. Wanting to die, that was the lie.
Do you remember if you listened to our episode?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Is it hard to hear? Now you're a little bit less like others in that you hear your voice a lot because of your work. So you didn't probably get weird when you heard your voice. Was it, and you'd been on podcasts before, and you've shared your story or parts of your story as it emerges or develops a lot.
There's one episode of Real Men Feel that I recorded when I was completely suicidal and miserable. And I intentionally have never listened to it. Could it dare help anyone if I share exactly everything I'm thinking about right now?
Tell me which one it is. I want to hear it.
Oh, good Lord. I'll have to get it to you after the fact. I don't
send
know.
it to me.
I did not study.
Listen, I'm really curious if you remember.
Yeah. But it's something Rising from the Ashes or might have been called Believing I Want to Die. But I'll look for it.
Yeah.
But I did not listen to it. I've never listened to it. I just uploaded it blindly, and the most powerful feedback I've ever gotten for a show was someone wrote to me saying, I just listened to that most recent episode, and I'm frightened how much I resonated with it.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll ask, because I've been doing these updates more recently, and they tend to be like someone I talked to a year or two ago, right? So I'll say, did you share it with anybody? Did they say anything? But it's a little different with you. Not in one, because it's been years, which is weird to say. And two, like you're a little bit, I don't know. There's not that you're in a different category, but you work in media, you have a podcast, you write, you talk about this stuff regularly. So some of my typical update questions don't apply quite the same way. When was the last time no bullshit. When was the last time you heard an episode of the Suicide Noted podcast?
Oh, so I listened to mine before the tour.
Just as a reminder.
Yep.
Was that the first time you heard it or the second time?
I honestly can't be sure.
Yeah.
I think it was the second time, but I'm pretty sure it was the second time.
That was 2020. The tour was 2025. In that period of time, I bet people were surprised to hear, given what you had shared for the last 10 or so minutes, between 2020 and 2025, you were suicidal again.
Yeah. Sometimes doing all the things I'm doing can feel like it's not getting me anywhere. It's not getting anybody else anywhere. I'm wasting my time. Why can't I just be like the average American and have just a regular job, come home and watch TV? Why can't I be that guy?
Mm-hmm.
So I had a period where I decided, fuck it, I'm going to be that guy. I stopped doing everything creative. I stopped doing everything positive. I dared the depression to come back, and I just sat in apathy. I did the bare minimum. I was working at Cisco at the time. They didn't even notice. So that's why I'm like, wow, me doing what I think is a shitty job is still like above the average worker. Like, it was scary. Yeah, I just vegged out, watched TV, did nothing. And it was just this apathy. And the longer I was in it, the more that nothingness had its own momentum.
Yeah.
And what woke me up, what changed me around, I forget how I found this, but I responded to some email or some offer for Nebutol, buying that online. That's the drug they give to death row inmates for the lethal injection.
Whoa.
And I was like, yeah, maybe I should buy that. Maybe, yeah. And then we'll see if I would, yeah. So I order it. I'm pretty sure it's a scam, but they were elaborate scam, fake tracking website, fake shipping company to back up that you bought something. And then the day it's supposed to arrive, it doesn't show up. I get a text, hey, the customs office has it here. You got to pay another $500 to get it. I'm like, now I know you're fucking bullshit, so, but I was really upset, more upset than I expected that it didn't show up.
You would have taken it?
I don't know. I still don't know, but I was upset I didn't have the opportunity to see.
When was that? Like 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
Yeah, 3 years ago.
Do your wife know about that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're not gonna know. Yeah. Well, again, when I'm not positive, it's obvious. So yeah, there's no hiding it. She knows. We both know. I'm sure you know. you can't help anybody that doesn't want to be helped.
Mm.
I did not want to be helped. I was daring the darkness to suck me down because I didn't, at the end of it, I realized I wanted another one of those spiritual voice messages that tell me, yes, you're supposed to be here. Once I realized that in meditation, I got, isn't being here enough? Why do you need why do you need a big show? It's like, oh, every few years, my ego, some part of me need a big song and dance, need a big show to prove, am I really doing the right thing?
Yeah. So it could happen again.
Oh, sure, it can. I'd be shocked if it would. Because again, I gave this 8 to 10 months of doing nothing positive for myself. Like I pushed it.
Yeah. That's
And
a
then,
nice
and actually, so yeah, the Nebutal not showing up, I might have the name wrong, I know, but whatever. The drug to kill myself did not show up, and people had reached out. I was ignoring, everything.
Yeah.
I did not record my show. I was not anybody podcast. Wasn't doing anything. Someone wrote me a physical letter that said, everybody's worried about you. Please come back to life. I was
Wow.
like, fuck, I mean, I opened this. I can't ignore this,
A
So,
physical letter?
yeah. Yeah.
Love that.
I'm emotional remembering that.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it was powerful. Like, wow, someone went to a lot of effort to remind me that people are worried about me. All right. I guess I matter.
I guess you do.
Yeah. When's the last time you got a postcard or sent one?
Man, I actually have a bunch of postcards that I plan on sending. I have a little thing that I'm doing with like a lot of people, not a lot, like a dozen people that for one reason or another, we were close and we lost touch. And it's like, I don't want to die. I'm not planning my death or anything, but like, there's something about a postcard because I'm actually not necessarily wanting to have a relationship with them. So I don't want to start it on like Facebook Messenger. I just want you to know that I still think about you.
Yeah.
And our time mattered. And let's be realistic. We may never talk again. Good like that. Like, let's be realistic. I'm not doing like a Sean conference where people come and they knew me. Like we're going to because I don't even know if I want that. So anyway, yeah. I plan on sending some soon. But when was the last time I received one? Yeah. Other than junk mail postcards, it's been a minute.
A year ago, I was in Africa. Oh yeah. Namibia, Zimbabwe, Botswana, and I bungee jumped at Victoria Falls.
No way.
And I have stood on top of buildings wanting to jump. And I stood on this, and it was just so different in my body. Like, this is going to be fun versus don't fucking do this. And I was just like, wow, how did like every cell of my being knows when I'm on an edge and it's for the thrill, it's to celebrate life versus I'm standing on the edge of something and it's to end life. It struck me like I was in tears. I'm hanging on the end of I'm like, and people thought it was the thrill. I'm like, no, man, I can't explain. This is the best I can explain it now, a year later. The difference from doing something because you want to end your life versus doing something that's celebrating your life, and it's the same action. It's taking a step into that void,
90. Well, you didn't have a bungee jump. You got the bungee. Yeah, same action. Stepping off something very high.
Yeah.
How was that?
Glad I did it. Don't need to do it again.
Yeah.
It is so violent. Like you just see people going like I'm dangling there like a worm on a hook until they rip me back in, and each rebound is like I was concussed. It was messed up. It was like this summer I had a hernia operation and all this stomach pain. What's going on? And like, have you had prior stomach surgery? Like, no. Like, well, usually this is due to an injury. Then I'm like, I bungee jumped early this year. It's like, I've never heard of that, but I've never had a patient that said that either. So maybe, yeah, it's being in a car wreck without a car. It's violent. And I was heavy. I was at my heaviest in my life. Like I just made the limit to be able to even let me do this. So there's a lot of weight. Suddenly stopping and yanking back multiple times. Yeah, it was the plummet was fun. Nothing else was.
Yeah. The after party. Yeah. Did you go on a safari?
Oh yeah.
Did you see the Big Five?
Yep. This is my fourth trip to Africa. We've seen the Big Five every single trip. Yeah.
You see any epic kills?
No, I've never seen a kill. I always think I want to, but I probably don't.
I think I was on one safari one time. I saw what was probably like shortly after a kill.
Yeah.
But I never saw an actual kill. You would think
I've seen lions protecting
happening
things.
like all the time, right? You would think like after 5 times, and they usually go on for a few days each, like that you're going to be seeing it's happening a lot, but not nearly enough for you to likely see one.
Yeah. We did see lions mating in the wild.
Okay, that's more common too, yeah. Did you, in the last 5 years, have your views, this is a big, broad question, views on suicide? I know some of these questions I asked you on the tour too. Like your views on suicide or suicidality shifted at all?
Oh, sure. I mean, I now speak about myself like I believed I wanted to die, whereas I used to say I wanted to die.
Okay.
And to me, there's a difference.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what you said on the tour when we talked, because I remember I think something about it doesn't really matter, but there was something we were talking about suicide. I think it was sort of about suicide prevention because there was a couple people that were pretty emotional in the room, and I remember like partially not disagreeing, but having different feelings, and I think it was kind of around that. And I don't know if I vocalized it. Like, what does
Yeah.
it mean?
Well,
Like,
I know when we talked
you
before, like
need
you've had issues with that term, prevention.
yes, and then when you've started showing what you do as prevention, I'm like, well, maybe with a small p, and you're like, well,
So to me, what I've learned for myself, and the more I do it, I find that the best way to prevent suicide is to talk about suicide.
right.
So you're doing suicide prevention anytime you talk about it.
Maybe some people would say that, but it sometimes depends on how you talk about it, or certain word choice, or you can't do,
Oh,
So
right. Yeah. And like if I don't know, does it exist? Can you have a let's all commit suicide podcast? Is that someone out there?
right, I don't think that's out there. I certainly haven't found it. Not my thing. I know that. But what happens to be safe is, let's just like not talk about certain things, just to be safe. And it's like, but then what is there's a cost to that. There's a big cost to that, and then we don't really get to talk about it.
And that's more the contagion is people not talking about it. This happened, and we offer nothing for anyone that's upset wants to talk about it. What was there help offered as this news story was covered?
Don't write about it just because someone else might do it. Okay, so then that person stays alive. Now what? They're alive and they still want to kill themselves. Now now what are we doing?
So that's intentionally why I have just my own rule of I don't talk about means, just in
Mhm.
case I tried something that no one thought of. That's usually the contagion aspect. Like everyone that's right on the borderline, it's maybe suicide news. Someone goes, they did it worked for them.
Sure.
Maybe it'll work for me.
Even though you specifically said a name of a drug, but it doesn't exist, so
Yeah, right.
it's just
Because
yeah.
now, and it really doesn't exist. Like even prisons can't buy it.
Right.
It's just they're looking for something else.
You have a
'Cause-
community of human beings, it sounds like, and I know that you're on School, if we could talk about that for a little bit if you want, but, authentic as fuck, and so some of the questions I typically ask people, I will still ask, but I kinda know the answer. It's like the question about, like, you have people in your life you can talk to about these things,
Oh, sure.
and
Yeah.
more than 1 or 2.
Yes. The key is though, will I? I have more support than the average bear. I have no doubt about that. But I can still choose to say, fuck it. I'm not worthy of it. I don't deserve it. I'm not going to bother people with my shit.
Sure. And you are, or are you, for others on their list of people they have that they can talk to?
Yes. Even when I was in my apathetic, I'm not engaging with the world, even then I would get messages from strangers. The podcast, all my expressions, everything I've created in the world can last longer than I will.
If I were saying to you right now, I'm suicidal, I'm pretty active, can you hold space for that? If I were talking about means, let's say outside of the podcast, we just hopped on Zoom. Well, we are on Zoom, but it wasn't, and I'm like, dude, I don't have anyone to talk to. I'm thinking about killing myself. I know this tall building in Mexico City. It's obviously it's going to work. I fucking hate my life. Is that a hard conversation for you?
No, it really isn't. Because everything you just said are thoughts I've had. See where this goes. Because one thing that I would pummel myself for is if I'm willing to climb a tall building and jump off and die, why am I not willing? I'm going to move to Czechoslovakia and see if that's more exciting. I'm brave in the way of like, I'll end my life, but I'm not brave in the way of living it.
Well, number one, Czechoslovakia doesn't exist anymore, so that's why.
Well, that's why I chose it.
It happens to be one of my favorite former countries. Yeah, though that's an interesting way of framing it. But would it be hard for you? We're speculating, though. I imagine you've had these conversations at points in your life on both ends. You want to talk me out of it?
No, because it's always going to be your decision. I would offer that you don't really want to die because you're talking to me. You think you want to die.
If I wanted to die, I would die. So I'm talking to you because there's some sliver of something.
You have more hope in you than you are really to acknowledge right now.
This is interesting. So how do you then navigate that? Obviously, in part, it's how I talk and share and what I say, but that's a really interesting space to say, I can't tell you what to do, and it won't really ultimately show, and you're going to do what you're going to do. I mean, you're not physically here in Mexico City, and if you were, would you tackle me to the ground? I don't know.
If I'm physically near someone and they're about to harm themselves, yeah. So I spoke to high school crowd for the first time in my life, just in December. I was like, I believe we all have to risk our best friend being mad at ourselves is better than risking them being dead.
Yeah, thank me later type of attitude.
Yeah.
You will thank me later. Yeah.
So you got to be willing. Everyone's got to decide that is or not. But talking to you again, I would just offer. I would point out, well, if you really wanted to die, you'd be taking those actions.
Mhm.
And thinking about it, it doesn't mean you're crazy. Like most people think about it, it's okay. If you're really taking actions, well, what other actions are there that you could take? If you're interested in things that could help, I can share things that have helped me in the past. It's more me asking you things than me telling you to do anything.
Yeah. I know in 2020, I didn't have this question. I know on the tour, I did ask it, the pink and purple pill. I don't remember your answer. The pill that will end your life painlessly 100% works and no one knows it's a suicide. Do you remember what you said in October?
So I would take it. I would take that pill and save it for the rainy day.
Okay. I know. Well, when you say take it, I thought you meant ingest, but you would not.
Oh, no. The rainy day wouldn't be just typical quote unquote depression shows up again. My only fear about aging is dementia. My dad died, dementia, didn't know who he was. It was horrible. My wife worked for years on a geriatric psych unit, came home with horrible stories all the time. So we both, like, my wife is very against suicide, but she's also said, you have permission to shoot me in the head if I have dementia. And I'm like, well, that means I have to buy a gun now, which you're against. So, yeah. So I do not believe I will ever attempt to end my life due to emotional pain again, but I could definitely quality of life issues.
Yeah, sure.
We don't have kids. If I'm headed to the road of I'm not going to know who I am, I'm going to be living in a box, having no clue what box I came from. I would not want that.
In Czechoslovakia. You're one of the few people, though you are not the only person who thinks that originally when the pink and purple pill was 2 pills. No, I'm sorry. It is not to me. It is very clear because wouldn't it be pills if it was 2 pills? A pink and purple pill is clearly a 1 pill with 2 colors.
But why?
Why not?
So it's so specific. I'm like, oh, am I missing some meaning behind pink and purple?
Why make it harder? Why didn't I just name it color irrelevant or just pink pill?
Yeah, or I've got some death flavored Gatorade. Would you like to have some?
So that's actually a good question. I wonder why I chose not necessarily those 2 colors, but why 2? Why? Like, why not just pick one? Who knows? So it's early 2026, but we took a 5-year hiatus. So if we're both kicking it in 5 years and we're both doing this work, or at least I'm doing this work for the sake of this question in terms of what's different, if anything, in your life 5 years from now, if we do another update episode, whether it's in person like the tour or on, what are we on? We're on Zoom here, because my Riverside isn't working.
So as any qualified suicidal person, I am really bad at predicting my future or planning for the future. But I hope and intend that over the next 5 years, my impact only increases. More books, more podcasts, more whatever the media conglomerate of 5 years from now is, more mental implants with my name on them, whatever it is. I want to keep traveling. Within 5 years, I hope to visit Africa 2 more times at least. I want to continue to live life to the fullest because I finally appreciate it. I'm grateful for it. Yeah, I want more of all good things.
Because you are an exceptionally honest human being, what are the odds that you're going to listen to our episode when it comes out?
Low.
In the same way I would listen to it.
I don't listen to podcasts. I create tons of them, but yeah, I don't have a commute. I don't have podcast time that others do, or that the person that I know that listens to the most podcasts, like, instead of music in the background all day, it's just podcasts going. Like, oh.
Is there a resource or something that helps you feel better or cope or deal or find connection that maybe a lot of people aren't aware of? Something a little different, something that we just don't know much about, but Andy knows about.
Yeah, the Modern Mystery School.
What's that?
All right. So I talked about Instill here, this kind of progression of energy work and spirituality. It has all brought me to the Modern Mystery School. I had my first experience with the Modern Mystery School 1 month before my podcast. It begins with a healing called the Life Activation. Literally, more light, more cosmic light, more divine source is brought into your physical body. It enhances your talents, your skill sets. It makes your purpose more obvious.
Really?
Real Men Feel was just I needed to do something for men. After I had this Life Activation, Real Men Feel, it's a podcast. Let's go. I remember receiving mine going, I have no idea what this person is doing, but I know I'm going to learn how to do this. I did. I've continued. So there were 7 ancient mystery schools throughout all of time. 1 open to the public in the 90s. This is a lineage that goes back to King Solomon. It is rooted in Hermetics, over 6,000 years old. Some of the healing work I do goes back to ancient Egypt, but it's all about experience.
The man speaks wisdom.
I have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on my personal growth.
And if you hadn't done that, you might be dead.
Yes, right. So I'm like, did I get a good ROI? I think so.
Right. Absolutely. Sure.
Yeah. But the mystery school, so that first introductory healing, the minimum that we are allowed to charge is $250. And some people get that and stop. It used to frustrate me that there's this infinite furthering progression of classes and healings and hierarchy. And
it feels a little scammy to some people. Like I get it.
yeah, so I have an introductory class called the 7 Ancient Mystery Schools, and it's a very experience. We play music and we do a little ritual, and I've had people not go, this feels like a cult. I'm like, well, that's a common question, but not this early, So, and the joke, when the mystery school people, when we gather for treats and trainings, and the big joke is like, oh, people think we're a cult. Well, yeah, we're the best damn cult there is then. But, again, I was in Scientology. I know the difference. But even Scientology wasn't a cult for me because I was able to leave. They did not force me. I was not held captive. There were when I discovered the mystery school and felt benefit from it, I wished it was a cult. I wanted them to tell me, come here, move, come to our compound. Don't bother with the rest of the world. Just come be us. I would have done that. I was very open to cults. I was open to drugs. If I'd met the right people, I'd be a heroin addict. It's all.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. When I believe I'm willing to die, I was also willing to try anything.
Yeah.
Inside you, yeah. So again, just all showed up. But luckily, I've had only the best people show up when I'm willing to try anything.
Any other questions that might you'd suggest I ask?
No, I'm like, I think your pill question captures the kind of where are you now? I think everybody that talks openly about ever being suicidal is actively engaged in suicide prevention, or at least suicide awareness. If the P word frightens you, whatever. No, I think it's a good thing. I don't think this is a subject matter that should be ignored, discounted. Like when I spoke to 3 different high school classes.
Nice.
They were all so engaged and asking questions, and it's like, wow, these kids are starved to have an open, authentic, real conversation about how shitty life can feel.
Keep it real.
However great I'm feeling, however, if you think I'm freaking faking being positive, whatever, no, it's because life isn't easy.
Right.
So when it's good, embrace the fucking good, man. Milk it all out of it.
I have no doubt that you had a good connection with those groups. Where can people find all of your stuff, Andy?
AndyGrant.com has links to the services I have, the community, the podcast. So I think that'd be the safest one stop.
So AndyGrant.com was taken?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Because if you're putting the Andy Grant, I used to do that when I pitched softball in Central Park. I put the Sean. So you gotta have a healthy ego to put words. When you put the in front of your name, and I realized because in part the domain wasn't available, you're coming in pitching hard.
Well, I say you don't want counterfeit. And there is a motivational speaker named Andy Grant in the UK. And sometimes searches will combine us. And I've got to talk to him. We've got to have an all Andy Grant show.
There's a Sean. Well, SeanWellington.com is taken, but it's one of those that it's like parked somewhere. Yeah. So I don't know who it is. I can't find him. I just want to know. I was just always there's probably literally tens of thousands of Andy Grants in the world. There's not that many Sean Wellingtons. So I feel like we should have a Sean Wellington conference and somewhere in Vegas. There's probably fewer than 100. That's Googleable. That's ChatGPTable. All right, let me get back to you. The website, I'm looking at it. TheAndyGrant.com. Nice smiley picture of Andy right on the front. Classic. Sacred self-discovery for the modern man. Fuel your deeper self through coaching, energy work, and spiritual guidance. The free community. I believe that's what's on school.
Correct.
And then we talk a lot about authenticity. I'm just giving some, I got a nice picture of you talking. Authentic AF. I like not only the Andy Grant, this is a pretty well done homepage, I have to say, with links to all your stuff. But I like that you not only have the Andy Grant, but you're the king of, you don't hold back, the king of authenticity.
There's the crown. And again, a business coach gave me that title back when I was first starting out, maybe like 2011, 2012. And I thought, the hell am I going to do with that? I didn't know what it meant. So it's only in recent years that I'm like, yeah, I am.
You definitely are very authentic, which I appreciate. And I think most of my guests are, but you sort of like ooze it out. You've never held back. I remember that from our first conversation. I also remember reaching out to you, and I don't know why. It might have been an update episode. It might have been something else. Once in a while, I'll do like an email blast. And you didn't reach back for once or twice. I remember looking at some of the people. I'm like, I'm really kind of surprised that he didn't reach back out. And then I later learned that was, I think, in the gap of your downness. And it just reminded me like, Sean, yeah, maybe it has nothing to do with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it could, but like it might not be you.
Yeah. And actually being the withholder of all contact, it's given me, I can really own that insight. If I don't hear from someone, like, oh, it's got nothing to do with me. It's no longer the first thought, like, what did I do? It's like, oh,
Right.
hopefully they're not in the middle of shit, but they got stuff going on.
Yeah. Final question I want to ask about the tour. We met at Alyssa's place. Shout out to them because they really did a great job. They helped so much and they do some cool things in the community. What was it like for you? And I know you've done your public presentations. You've done this so much. You're not necessarily the sort of typical guest, but talking to me in person, in this case with one other suicide attempt survivor, in front of about 20 people, a handful of them you know personally or might see in town. I mean, your wife was there.
Yeah. So we had not been in Gardner for a year yet until we had that. So we're freshly here. Yeah. The only person in the audience I knew was my wife.
Yep.
I've since been in touch with TJ, who's in the crowd. I've been in his podcast. So I've had follow-ups with the people in that audience. And I told you, even if no one showed up, you made me go out into my new town and look for sites and meet people. So cool. I was grateful for that before the event ever happened.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. And we had a nice little write-up and some people did come out and there were some good conversations.
Yeah.
We did raise a little money through that, which was a little, wasn't the main goal, but was it matters. Fundraising matters. Yeah. The conversation was good. And it will be, hopefully eventually there will be a short documentary made in every place where there was any sort of media done. It will be included in there. So I probably have to do some kind of release, but that's down the line. Now I just have a bunch of files sitting in my external hard drive that hopefully we'll use someday. Because I mean, and there was enough that happened throughout that tour, obviously including Gardner, where like, that would be kind of a cool little documentary.
I want to know what happened to other stops.
I did the best they could, man. It was a hustle, but Soon enough, hopefully that information, that media will be available to more and more people. So they too know what happened on the tour. Anything else you want to share, Mr. Grant?
I tell you, the most impactful thing, I had a 23-year-old young man tell me that I was his model for what a man can be.
Wow.
And that shook me to my fucking core. It's called Real Men Feel because I grew up, I didn't think I was a man at all. Like weak, hopeless, helpless, a loser. I thought I was alive because I was too weak to go through with things. Not that was, source God, my spark of life, whatever it is saving me. Now I see being alive was a strength.
What a cool, yeah.
But yeah, it was incredibly impactful. So again, if the community dissolved tomorrow, it would have helped. It's already helped me tremendously in ways I never imagined.
Good on you, man. As they say across the pond, good on you, mate. Is that Australian? I just probably mixed countries.
Yeah, I believe so.
and neither was Czechoslovakia. Cool, man. Thanks for talking. Thanks for the update. It's always nice to speak with you. I have no magic parting words other than thanks.
No dismount? All right.
I don't have like a big dismount with a 9.95 coming. It'll be out and you won't hear it, but somebody will and I'll get something from it.
Oh, and I will promote it. I will blast about it. I will say how awesome it is. Yeah,
okay.
For sure.
Thank you, sir. Hope your day is nice.
It will be. Thank you.
Take care, bro. As always, thanks so much for listening and all of your support. Special thanks to Andy in Massachusetts for speaking with me again and again. Thanks, Andy. If you are a suicide attempt survivor or ideator and you'd like to talk, I'd love to talk with you. Please reach out. hello@suicidenoted.com. Remember to check out our weekly poll on Spotify. Remember that you can rate and or review this podcast on Apple and learn more, all kinds of other things on our website, at suicidenoted.com. I appreciate you. And that's all for this week's episode. Stay strong. Do the best you can. I'll talk to you soon.